It was blood on a baby blanket that helped convict Terry Johnson. He's now spending up to life in prison for the murder of 14-year-old Christopher Mosier.
Well, this week, Johnson appeared before the parole board in hopes he'll be released. Mosier's family opposes that. For every crime, there's a story, and the truth matters. Here's ABC4's senior crime and punishment correspondent Marcus Ortiz with tonight's Justice Files.
DNA helped convict Terry Johnson, but now his attorney is questioning those findings in an effort to throw out the conviction.
I have maintained my innocence for many years here, sir. I would never have harmed anyone, and certainly not in this fashion.
But in 2004, a Salt Lake jury finds Terry Johnson guilty of murdering Christopher Mosier. The 14-year-old is brutally stabbed at his Taylorsville apartment in 1993. Mosier's babysitting Johnson's son when he's killed. Johnson picks up the baby that night and is the last one to see Mosier alive. Johnson's a suspect from the very beginning, but there's no solid evidence to link him to the crime. Mosier's murder turns into a cold case.
He walked free for 9 years after you killed my son. If it was not for the detectives pursuing this cold case, he would still be a free man today.
In 2002, DNA comes into play. The detective gets the baby's blanket retested. Johnson wraps the baby with it that night of the murder. But there's blood on it, and the DNA test indicate it's Mosier's.
Basically showed that the baby was in the room when it happened because there was no blood in the middle of the blanket. It was just spattered.
The DNA evidence helps convict Johnson, who gets up to life in prison. Tuesday, Johnson's eligible for parole and refuses to admit he's the killer.
I'm never, ever going to confess to something I didn't do, sir. This is awful. And we certainly know that whoever have done this is also probably in public watching this hearing right now as we speak.
Repeated efforts to overturn the conviction are rejected by the Supreme Court. But in 2019, the Rocky Mountain Innocence Center files a post-conviction relief petition to prove Johnson isn't the killer. They challenge the blood on the baby blanket and request DNA testing on other evidence. Months later, the new DNA test shows the DNA testing was not favorable to Johnson. Traces of Johnson's blood are on Mosier's wristwatch.
More and more DNA, strong evidence against him.
The Innocence Center withdrew from the case, yet Johnson refuses to accept the finding.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and confess to something that I did not do.
Now, a different attorney is challenging those findings. In a court filing, Johnson's new attorney claims the baby blanket, which helps convict him, was not at the crime scene. The DNA on the wristwatch is contaminated because it's improperly stored. He states the conviction should be reversed or a new trial be ordered because it's been a travesty of justice for Terry Johnson.
There's no way that he's, not guilty. The jury came back with a correct verdict. I don't know if he has a conscience. He just wants to just get out.
I'm sorry for your hurt, Mr. Mosier. I'm sorry for your family's pain. I do have remorse. I'm not an animal. I'm not a monster.
As for possible motive, his own wife told police he may have been trying to steal stuff from the Mosiers to fuel his drug habit. Mosier's father believes his son died trying to stop him. To date, there's no word whether Johnson will get a new trial, but late today, he'll be paroled in February with conditions. Visit our website, abc4.com, to learn about his release from prison. For the Justice Files, Marcus Ortiz, ABC4 News.